Put it in the news. I have seen it myself where I'm from. I have seen white people get shot by white cops. Like it's
on your local media. Is it on
local media? It was in my yard.
But is it being pushed nationally to be an issue?
Is that what matters?
Yes,
that's what matters. If it's not in the news, it doesn't matter. If there's violence somewhere else, not in the news, it doesn't matter.
No, I said they're blowing these up, making them put them out of proportion to make it look like it's worse than it is.
Are you living through this? Like, are you seeing what people go through? Because I'm pretty bad. And you haven't seen this?
I don't see the evidence for what you claim. No.
Where are you from?
I live in Appleton.
Appleton? And they don't have problems out there? Where I'm from, they have a lot of problems. I've seen them all. They have a lot of problems. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of people who are just oppressed just because of who they are, and I've seen that happen myself.
I agree. They're suppressed because of
Okay, and it's not the government pushing it. It's just reality. I'm not. What if it's not their choice? What if some girl is raped and it's not? What if a girl is raped? That's not her choice.
Evils don't make her wrong.
Wait. Can I say something real quick? Whoa. Wait.
Because of rape, she has to continue this. It's too right now.
Meaning you don't punish the baby. Punishing the baby's not going to solve.
It's punishing the woman.
Hold on, wait. Can I hear your guys' opinions on gun laws here for a second? Just for a second, gun laws. How do you feel about that? That's what I want to
What if? Now we're just using what ifs. You can't base it off what if. Girls get raped all the time. That's a fact.
Yeah, on college campuses where it happens more often than not.
So rape happens anyways, right? Just like illegal abortion.
But why is college campuses the places where it happens?
Get regulated. Get money off of it.
Regulate. That doesn't mean I should still go through with the child if I've been raped. If I'm not planning to be a parent right now, why should I continue a child that some man tried to put in?
That's not fair to the mother. It's not fair to the
I'm going to seek help for counseling, but I'm not going to seek help to get this child. No, it's too negative. Man taught me that. 18-year-old, not financially stable, not mentally stable, to have a child. No, but
I'm not saying that.
I'm not having this. This man taught me to Period. Why would I have a baby if I'm not ready?
Why would you murder someone?
You already have a baby. The baby already lives inside of you. You're already a parent, and it's your responsibility to take care of the baby, and you don't have the right to murder somebody just because you're raped.
If I was raped, if I'm not planning this, even if it was consensual sex, I'm not having a child if I'm not ready for it.
Well, you already have a child, ma'am. The child is living inside of you. You're already a mother.
Sex, by definition.
Do you like that? Did she get it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. It seems like everybody else want to be parents.
Right, everybody else in
You're already a parent when you're pregnant.
Hell no.
Yes, you are. You're already a baby.
Again, when does life begin? We've told you many times it begins at conception, but you don't want to hear it.
Because it's not
you want to justify yourself.
It's not true.
Thank God.
It's not true.
You deny it. You deny science. You deny basic biology. You deny common sense.
You all know fornication is wrong, right? You know it's rebellion against God to like have sex outside of a marriage relationship.
So what? Have you had sex outside of marriage because you got
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
So you're a virgin?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So sex is only for a marriage relationship, and there's so many people in these rough positions because they're not doing it God's way. They're not staying committed in a marriage relationship. They're sleeping around all over the place, creating these new children, but they need to stay committed in a marriage relationship.
Okay, but the point is that America, we don't have a set religion. So Christianity, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But I can do whatever the fuck I want as an atheist because I don't believe in God.
But that's your problem. Your problem is that you rebel against God and you hate God, man.
We agree with that. The point being, though, we have laws for a reason. You can't do whatever you want. We have laws that protect people from murder, from rape.
But these laws against abortion are going to stop the safe ones.
Finish my sentence,
the laws against abortion are going to stop the safe ones and start the dangerous ones that are killing
women. All I want to do is finish the sentence, okay? We have those laws because we were a nation rooted in Christian thinking. Not everybody was a Christian in this country. Definitely not everybody lived like a Christian. Okay, but we got our laws large part from Scripture. That's why we said human beings have intrinsic value. If you're an atheist, where do human beings get value from? What makes you think human beings get value?
I got one question.
So if you're an atheist, why do I have value as a human being?
That's a whole different philosophical.
Do I have value?
No, it's very relevant. It's very relevant.
Why do I have value? Where's my value come from? Why do I have value? If I'm an atheist, they just had the movie The Joker out. This is not an irrelevant topic. The movie The Joker's out right now. And look at the rationale. It's called nihilism. This is being promoted at universities in our country. It is actually a mentality that lots of people in this country have. Why do you think young kids are shooting each other in the streets in this country? Committing suicide, drug addicted. Because they don't believe that their life or the lives of others actually have value, because they don't believe there's a God. They believe that the random products of evolution. Like their great-great-grandfather was a monkey. That's all they think. What they've been taught. So if you believe that, then what value does your life have?
So do you believe that unsafe abortions are better than safe?
What value does your life have, young man?
Don't answer.
You don't have an answer.
Wait, what if we magically, win against abortions, right? So then what? We come overpopulated, right?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
What do you mean that's baloney? That's not baloney.
Idaho. We're
That's
not
science.
overpopulated.
That's
We're not overpopulated.
I didn't say we are now, but I'm saying if we just want, pop out babies, and we just so happen to agree with y'all dumbass decisions, we become overpopulated. Oh, well,
Then let's have sex.
yeah, we don't have much life on either.
Flying people to Mars now.
Oh yeah, let's go to Mars like he's talking
Yeah,
about.
let's go back to Mars.
I got Jupiter.
Yeah, let's go.
I got cars on Jupiter.
Hey, the next,
Hopefully they got Fashion Nova on there.
the next time is a crazy kid who's an atheist walks through here with a machine gun and shoots down a bunch of kids. Don't complain about it.
What about the next conservative person that runs for here?
Wait, why is that wrong in your worldview?
Judge, who are you to judge? Who are you to judge?
What does that have to do with anything?
Who are you to judge?
Who are you? What does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with murder and human rights.
Decisions. He doesn't think that you're a human being. You can't impose your morality upon him. He doesn't think you have any value. You
That's
can't
what
impose your
any
morality
of us
upon
are
him.
saying.
Exactly what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah, that's totally
You're saying
Mentally ill. Says who?
No,
Based upon
You're
your-
comparing mass
your
murder to
opinion.
abortion.
Your opinion.
abortion is mass murder. Abortion is mass murder.
Mass murder.
Abortion is not
They
mass.
they carry humans into killing facilities and mass murder them.
He's talking about like 20 adults getting shot down compared to one
Versus a
person
fetus.
versus a fetus.
One fetus.
You have no basis for human value. You have no basis for morality.
And you have no right to tell me what to do with their body, but we still here talking right. We're talking right.
You've been conditioned from a young age to think like a child.
You're conditioning these kids from a young age.
To
You
think
are
of adults. To
brainwashing
think
these
like
children.
adults. To
No,
be much more mature than you.
You are
Yes.
teaching them that
My
they don't have their own
my
fucking
daughter
rights
is
about their
already.
own fucking body.
My 9-year-old daughter is already more mature than you are.
Okay, then let her talk. What is your plan? Bring her up. Let her talk.
No, well,
Yeah.
hey, I don't have to slap anybody.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
If your 9-year-old daughter was raped and had
What do you mean you didn't want to slap anybody?
That's what I told her.
You think you're gonna attack a child? You think she's gonna attack a child? What
I'm
makes
not
you
gonna
think
attack a child.
she's nasty? You're judging, sir.
Yes, she's nasty.
You're judging.
Who are you to
He called her nasty.
Who
He's
are you to
judging now.
Who are you to judge?
Holy cow.
Where are you to
I
judge?
mean,
He said he don't want to slap. He don't want to slap nobody. He said you're gonna attack his child.
It looks like you're.
Wait. He said you're nasty. He's judging you, my good sis.
Ma'am, aren't you judging him?
Yes.
I said earlier a mass murderer could come through a
Right, he
machine
just
gun and
said,
say
is
that's
you
wrong,
wrong
it's
to
mentally
judge?
ill.
I'm
But now when it's
confused.
your sin, all of a sudden you shouldn't
Now I'm lost. Now I'm lost.
Very convenient.
You just said,
hey,
who are
that
we to
guy's
judge?
evil.
Who
That
are you
guy's
to
sick.
judge?
That guy's wrong. But my sin, don't judge. Don't nobody judge. Very convenient. Very convenient.
Let him speak.
Shame on you. That's the human condition.
It's technically
The
not.
Bible
let
says
this guy
that
talk.
human beings
Let him talk.
suppress the truth and unrighteousness. That's what Romans chapter 1 tells us, that we as human beings, we suppress truth in our unrighteousness. Selfish hearts. You want to justify your sin, so you love little sayings like judge not, because you can hide behind it and justify your sin. But you point the finger at everybody else all the time. You're some of the most judgmental people I've seen out here today. You judge all kind of actions. But when everybody talks about your sin, judge not. Judge not. Very convenient when you get to pick and choose, when you get to judge and when you don't.
But he
Very
contradicted
convenient because
himself.
you are in a state of spiritual sickness. You need Jesus, you need to repent, and
Can
you
I
need to
ask
God.
you one question,
Because
please?
you are in a state of spiritual sickness and darkness.
Wait, let this guy talk.
Wait, yeah, I want to hear him.
I'm coming in late.
Hey, appreciate you letting me go up there. Jason.
Jason Marco. So can you give me again your argument exactly what it is that you're trying to promote?
Hold up.
Yeah, I mean, we're Christians, so I come out here as a Christian unashamedly. But this particular viewpoint that we're bringing about abortion is to say that human life begins at the moment of conception. It's a scientific medical fact. I can give you all the arguments. We could go through the textbooks and the science on that, but that is a human being, undeniable, living human being. Sure. And so I believe as a Christian that human life, all human life, has intrinsic value. So it's wrong for me to take things from you, to hurt you, to do things that are violations of your rights, because I think that you actually have rights. Not just because the government says that you have rights, and they can change them, and they can do what they want, and if they want to imprison half the population, because they have that right. No, but you have actual rights that transcend the government, they transcend the will of the majority, thank God, that transcend, you can't just do a 51% vote and say suddenly Marco has no value, all these people want Marco's stuff, and so 51% of them vote to take Marco's stuff. That's how most of human history has worked, right? That's how democracies generally tend to work. It's why democracies generally are the end of society. So you have value and rights that come from your creator. They're not based upon the will of the majority. They're not based upon who happens to have the biggest guns and the most power. They're not based upon our government. It's based upon God's decree. You are made in his image and you have value. So from the moment you became a human being, which I would say was when your mother's egg and dad's sperm met, and they chose to have sex, which sex by definition is reproduction, it's a reproductive activity, you came into existence and you were a valuable human being, living human being from that moment forward. And your mother and father had a duty and responsibility to love you and to protect you from that moment forward. And their failure to do so would be selfishness and would be wrong. That's it.
Your argument comes from a very genuine place. Your concern is you don't want that to happen. Your concern is you want to value life. Your concern is people value life. My argument is it's not that simple. We all close. I think it's more complex.
I understand that there are people. We had this discussion earlier. We actually had some really good conversations earlier with some guys. And I grew up a very difficult life. My mother had I was my mom's third kid. She was 17 when she had him. She had a kid at 15. She grew up for adoption. My brother was 17. Me at 18 actually. She just turned 18. She had another kid at 22. She grew up for adoption. Okay, so my mom grew up very difficult teenage years. My brother and I had to grow up very difficult as a result of that, being raised by a single mom. And so I can sympathize. I don't blame my mom today. I'm not mad at my mom. She made a lot of bad decisions. My brother and I suffered for it. I forgive my mom. I love my mom. I'm not angry that my mom
through those struggles and pain, you became who you are today. Right? Without anyone knows who you are.
Well, and partly was also God's grace, because a lot of people go through what I went through and they become bitter and angry and they hate the world.
Exactly.
And they hurt a lot of people. And so it's a choice of how you choose to handle the difficult circumstances that come to your life. Sure. Difficult circumstances are going to come to all of us. We've been raised by this consumer culture from the time we're this big that tells us I deserve to be happy all the time. And if I don't, then I have a right to throw a fit. That's what we've been taught. It's in all the media, all the advertisements, commercials. I mean, just do a study on the commercials that we've all seen from the time we're this big. It's I deserve it. Now, I have a right to be happy all the time. If I'm not, I get to throw a fit. I get to act a fool. And so what we have is a young generation that thinks that because a child is an inconvenience to me, the problem's not with me. I don't need to change my lifestyle. I can now kill that child. We've made it easy for irresponsibility. We've made it easy to be selfish. We've made it easy for moms and dads to neglect their children, to abuse their children, to abort their children. We've made it easy for the self-centeredness of our culture to proliferate.
No, he's finishing his thought.
Yeah, I mean, does that make sense? Does everything I'm saying make sense?
I get what you're saying.
He knows that it's productive.
Now, hold on.
This discussion is productive.
Thank you.
Although the arguments are not productive.
Thank you.
It's creating a dialogue, right?
Yes.
But your argument into the sense of what you're saying is that goes based off of your own belief in your own religion, as well as being a Christian male, being a white Christian male. You have your own struggles. Everyone has their own definition of struggles that makes their whole life. Yeah. But if you're saying
white Christian males have struggled a lot in the world.
Huh?
White Christian males have also struggled a lot.
So white Christian males struggle a lot?
Have struggled a lot in this world.
Are you serious? Well, let's go struggle to struggle.
Let's spark this argument.
How far back you want to go? 2,000 years? 3,000 years?
You want to go struggle to
2,000 years? How far back? You want to go back to my true ancestors?
You want to go
back to the Celts? You want to go back to the Celts that were
Hold on.
Let's
go struggle
go back to my Sicilian ancestors?
You said you grew up with like brothers and sisters. Y'all was struggling cool, whatever.
I've been jumping because of the color of my skin.
That's fine, right?
You've been jumping because of the color of your skin? I've been jumping because of the color of my skin.
More than once. We get shot every day because
you get shot every day? You get shot every day? White people get shot every day in this country. White people get shot every day.
Do you know how it feels to walk around on this fucking campus, everybody looking at you and shit? You don't know if you're gonna get hurt. You don't know that struggle though. You don't. You don't know. You don't know that struggle walking up on this campus. No, you don't. No, you don't. I had to transfer school because I almost got hit by a car. I went to Northern Michigan University, predominantly white. Up there, I had to leave.
I'm sorry.
No. I don't want to shake your hand right now because you want to go struggle to struggle. No, you don't want to go struggle to struggle with me.
You have no love for me?
No, you don't want to go
struggle.
You have
no love for me?
I didn't say that, but you don't want to go struggle to struggle with me.
You know what? I didn't. You know what?
Guys, listen up. Okay. We gotta leave our levels a little bit quieter, okay? All right? Let's just kind of keep it a little bit productive. More civil.
Yeah.
Be civil.
Continue your dialogue, but please keep it a little quieter, okay?
Hey, black people are suffering in this country. White people are suffering in this country. Hispanic people are suffering in this country. Okay. I know plenty of white people who are growing up in black neighborhoods who get beat up and punked out every day. Okay. So you don't know what that's like, do you? Okay. I know Mexican people that are growing up in Asian neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Been a part of gang fights between Asians and Mexicans. Okay, I've seen a lot of crazy racial stuff, and there's a lot of crazy racial stuff in this world. Okay, are there a lot of ignorant, racist white people? Absolutely. Are there a lot of black people who are mistreated because of ignorant, racist white people? Absolutely. Okay, but here's the reality. You choose how to deal with that. You choose how to respond to that. Okay, I know I spend a lot of time in inner city Milwaukee. I do ministry in homes where there are poor black families, kids that are growing up in schools that are barely even teaching them how to read and write, okay? And yet some of those kids are going to go on to become highly successful. Some of those kids are going to get involved in gangs and drugs. What's the difference? Raised in the same exact home, same exact neighborhood, going to the same exact schools. One becomes successful, one doesn't. Okay, there's a level of personal responsibility. There's a level of personal choice in how you chose to handle it. Okay. Well, I agree. Sure.
What happens?
Yeah, the public education system in inner cities. I've done substitute teaching in Milwaukee public schools. They are a disaster. Milwaukee public schools are a failure. If I was a black parent in Milwaukee, I would be outraged at the condition of the schools.
We're outraged all the time and still get nothing in return.
That's why you have school choice. Well, I wouldn't say you got nothing.
Black women are the most disrespected in the race.
I agree.
One second.
I agree with
and we
that.
get nothing
I
in
absolutely
return.
agree with that.
Are constantly supposed to be catering.
But here's what I also would say to you, okay? Is I know lots of very highly successful black women in this country, okay?
Yes, because it takes a lot because their parents were
you may have to work harder than the average white girl, absolutely. But here's the reality: the opportunities for success are there for you in this country. Okay, there are a lot of good white people. There are a lot of good white people who care very much about your success and will do a lot to help you become successful.
And I'm not gonna deny, there's a lot of white people who are, really good people.
Absolutely.
I've been around that.
Right.
My mother has grown up in a struggle where her father wasn't on her side, barely there, and her mom took care of her the whole time. Brothers and sisters turned against her at the end of the day, and I'm her only child. She's put me in a private school because she thought that was the best for me. Now, she's been through the struggle every day, but I competed every day with white girls and white boys who got better opportunities than me because of their race.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. It's not the same race. It's a different struggle.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yes, we have the same lane, but I got more barriers.
I'm not denying that. I agree with you. Yeah. But here's the point I would make back to you. I would make two things. First, I would agree with you. Yes, you're going to have more barriers than the average white girl. You're going to have more barriers than my daughters. My daughters are actually privileged, very privileged. Exactly. And part of the reason they're privileged is because I have not sent them to public school. I educate them at home. My daughters I've had opportunities. My daughters have had opportunities. My sons have had opportunities very few people in this world will get. And that's because I've chosen, so my kids have advantages that lots of white kids don't get. I was born in a poor, small little